and welcome to A Game of Two Halves. I am your host Max Drinkwater-James, and in today's show we will be exploring the future of Welsh sport, as well as speaking to a special USW student about life as an aspiring professional athlete. Firstly, let's take a look at the sporting headlines. Due to a red weather warning, all Welsh domestic football matches due to take place on Saturday the 7th of December have been cancelled, following advice from the Met Office. After just over 2 months without a permanent manager, Cardiff City have appointed previous interim manager Omar Rizza. Rizza has signed until the end of the season as the Bluebirds try to climb the championship table. Earlier this week, Cymru qualified for the Women's European Championships with a 2-1 away win against Ireland. Goals from Hannah Kane and Carrie Jones helped Cymru to a 3-2 aggregate victory to secure a history-making place at a first-ever international competition. And Welsh snooker legend Terry Griffiths has sadly passed away, aged 77, after a battle with dementia. A Triple Crown winner, he will be dearly missed by the world of snooker. Now we head to the Newport County FC Academy, where 18-year-old starlet Nelson Sanca has been turning the heads of many football fans in South Wales. Freddie Owers reports.
Every year, we see the emergence of new and exciting talent through Welsh footballing academies. This time round, the name on everybody's lips at Newport County is that of Nelson Sanca. I spoke to him about his journey signing a professional contract and how he can play a role in the future of Welsh sport.
I started off at Canton Libs, grassroots team. It was going well over there and I was getting many games with the first team. My coach at Canton organised a trial here for me and I had a 8-week trial. It went successful. Throughout the season, I got named on the first team bench around November, so like 2 months after I signed. And then I was on the bench, and then in April, I made my debut for the first team against Tranmere Rovers. Playing in front of my family, it felt amazing, and in front of the fans as well, because I wanted to show them like what I can do and what I can bring to the team. So it felt amazing to play in front of everyone. To sign my first professional contract, it was an amazing feeling. Like, obviously everyone's like proud and stuff, and I think I put a lot of hard work into it as well, so it's just to keep going and get many more as I can. The academy, they played a big part in it, supporting me in football and even off the pitch. They've like helped me a lot and always supported me throughout like everything. Even when I like go to the first team or when I'm playing with the under-18s, like the coaches here are all brilliant and they all help me, and they're all a massive reason in my career. So I'd like to see myself in the Premier League, obviously like onto bigger things, and just hope for the best and have a long career in professional football.
Nelson's academy manager Luke Hussey was full of praise as he told the story of Nelson's journey so far and what it means to the academy.
So Nelson Sanca's background with us started when his name was sent to us for a scouting report. We went and watched him play for a representative game, and we immediately liked what we saw. During pre-season, it was really quick to us that we wanted to sign him. We could see his potential, so it wasn't necessarily where he was at, but we could just see he had all the attributes that we would look for in one of our first team players.
I asked Luke what it meant to him and the academy to be such an instrumental part in Nelson Sanca's development into a professional footballer.
Yeah, as people who identified him, brought him in, worked with him, could see the potential, put him forward. This is why we do the job. It's like really fulfilling. It's exciting to see his journey. It's quite a unique one for somebody to come out of grassroots football and then be playing in the Football League in the same season. It's quite incredible. So yeah, everybody, all the staff here, incredibly proud, incredibly excited, and I'm really looking forward to see his journey continue to develop.
Having made such incredible progress in such a short amount of time, Nelson looks destined for a great career.
We now hear from one of the curators of one of the sports journalism course's most successful student projects. Freddie Owers spoke to Sam Hill of the Puncher's Chance podcast.
Sam Hill, a second-year sports journalism student at the University of South Wales, has helped to pioneer one of the most successful student projects to come out of the course in recent years. His boxing podcast, The Puncher's Chance, has seen him, as well as 2 other students, immerse themselves in the world of professional boxing media. I spoke to him about this experience.
Yeah, so obviously start of first year, keen little first year student, used to turn up dead early for uni, walking over from Cathays. Harry would do the same, but training from Newport, we'd always talk boxing because some shared interest thing. And then Delmy goes one week, you need to start a podcast. We smashed the first 10 out that we needed for our thing or for our submission, and we thought, well, why not keep it going, keep doing it while we enjoy it. One thing led to another, started going to shows, started getting people in, and then, yeah, we're doing all right, just knocking on a year now, just a year in a couple of days, so it's pretty cool. I think the difference between what made us want to keep going was just how much we enjoyed it in terms of doing it every week. It was never really a case of, oh, will we keep doing this? It was more a case of just we kept doing it because we enjoyed it. One week led to another week, and every week we kind of thought, oh, how can we improve it this week? How can we make it better? What can we do better? Started videoing it, started going down to the live shows, which was a big kind of catalyst for improvement in the channel, got a bit more traction, and then from there it was, it's never really been a case of, do we stop doing this? It's really a case of, what can we do with this, rather than it being ever in question that we were going to stop.
After a year's worth of hard work, the podcast was nominated for the Wales Media Awards Podcast of the Year, a milestone moment for Sam in his studies.
Yeah, so it was the Welsh journalism charity Wales Media Awards, so all the big media all across Wales could apply for it. There was a Podcast of the Year award. Julie, one of our lecturers, said, I think you boys have a good shot at this if you go for it. We went for it. We were selected as finalists alongside 3 BBC Wales podcasts. We didn't win in the end. They one of the BBC Wales podcasts won it, but from our point of view, the way we kind of said, just to be put alongside, the BBC, it's not, we're 3 guys with 2 cameras and a dream, as so to speak. So yeah, we shouldn't have been there in our minds, but we were, and it was great to see. We've been really lucky to get some really big names on the channel, bigger than I think we probably should have or ever thought we would have. I was talking the other week about who I thought the biggest interview we'd done, and I couldn't pick a name. There's been a couple. Ben Whittaker, former Olympic silver medalist, a really big name. We managed to get him on the channel at a gym opening in Cardiff through a sort of mutual friend we knew. Johnny Fisher's a big name. Father Big John, Harry's favourite boxer. I was fortunate enough to interview him. Harry wasn't there, unfortunately. He was a great one. And then recently, Frank Warren, the Queensbury promoter, big name. My dad was like, wow, Frank Warren, that's that's one of the faces of boxing. So we've had some great ones, a couple former Welsh world champions, and we got Gavin Gwynn, a really brilliant Welsh boxer in this studio. So I think from the uni's point of view, the fact that we were able to get someone here in the building, we're working on getting a few more world champions, former Welsh world champions in here. So those sort of things are the best.
The Puncher's Chance podcast looks to be only the start of Sam's involvement in boxing media as he continues his studies whilst gaining an invaluable amount of experience along the way.
Next up, reporter Iestyn Thomas was down at the USW Sport Park to catch up with student Dan Cotterill about life playing for the university rugby team, as well as Welsh Premiership club Pontypridd RFC.
Dan is a second-year student on the professional policing course at USW and is a front row forward for the university rugby team and Welsh Premiership side Pontypridd. It is often the case that he would be training up to 6 days a week. So how does he balance it alongside his course?
It's a heavy workload, train once on a Monday with uni, train a Tuesday morning with uni, train a Tuesday night with Pontypridd, play for the uni on a Wednesday, train Thursday night with Pontypridd, train on a Friday with uni, then play a game on a Saturday again then. So the workload is heavy, but it equals itself out. Once you get into the groove of things, it kind of balances out and you're able to manage yourself a bit better. Yeah, with Dill, I've known him since my first year here. We've started the majority of the games for the uni together, so coming into Ponty is nice to have someone who's, he's a hooker and I'm prop, so it's nice to have someone who I know how he plays, what he does, next to me in the scrum. We know how to work off each other well during games, with uni and with Ponty. Yeah, with the uni team, you can have a lot more fun with it. It's competitive, but you can enjoy yourself a lot more. You're playing with boys similar age and stuff, all your mates. And then with Ponty, you get the competitive side, you're pushing yourself to be better. You're playing with some top boys in the top league, so it's working yourself to be better. So there's fun in both aspects of it.
We are now joined in the studio by Eduardo Bregua, a first-year student on the sports journalism course who interestingly also plays for Cymru Premiership side Penybont. So Eduardo, first thing I just wanted to ask you, how are you balancing life between university and your footballing career?
It is demanding, obviously, but balancing it's been pretty easy. My trainings are in the evenings and obviously games on the weekend, so it works around the schedule pretty well.
Obviously, a lot of footballers and professional sports stars tend to look at life in the media after their career. Are you taking these steps early as sort of a backup plan if potentially your playing career doesn't go the way you expect it to?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something I've always wanted to do and be involved in. So to do it now is a no-brainer.
What's your favourite part of the course so far, obviously, from a footballing point of view? Are you enjoying working with other sports, not just potentially football?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an eye-opener for me to work with other sports like netball and hockey, something I wouldn't really have done. And yeah, to do the writing side of it is probably my favourite.
A lot of people come into the first year a bit unknowing of what they want to do, but what's your aspirations for the rest of the year?
For the rest of the year, probably to just get as well equipped as I can, ready for the next two. And by the end of the course, if I can do something like match reporting or something, I'd be very interested in that.
Well, that's great, Eduardo. Thank you for that. Have you ever wondered how safe the future of Welsh sport really is? Freddie Owers went down to the Cardiff Park Run to tell the story of just how important unpaid volunteers are in the sustainability of sport in South Wales.
The Cardiff Park Run has been operating since 2008. Since that day, it has been run solely by volunteers who give up their time to ensure that people can get out on a Saturday morning and have a 5k run. I came down here on a deep autumn Saturday to speak to the volunteers and some runners about how this works in everybody's favour.
They're invaluable. If there weren't any volunteers, there'd be no park run. So it's really important that whoever takes part do occasionally put their hand up to volunteer. I think the ratio, they reckon if everybody volunteers 3 times a year, then there will be always a park run. Without volunteers, there probably wouldn't be many sports going on a regular basis. You think of most sports, it's dependent on unpaid volunteers.
Gwyn came with a very heartfelt story about the relationship between his personal health and Park Run and how the volunteers have helped this.
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 27 years ago, and at that time I was saying, exercise is something that you might not be able to do anymore, and then after a while I found that my control was much better when I was exercising. So, I discovered Parkrun 14 years ago, and it's a staple of my Saturday mornings now, and unless I'm doing something very important, I'm here.
Volunteer Lindsay Allen spoke to me about how essential people like her are in the sustainability of grassroots activity in South Wales.
It's really important because without the volunteers, you wouldn't have Parkrun, basically. And every week, I've run it, I've volunteered, I've scanned, I've done the funnel, done lots of different parts. But without it, you really wouldn't get the Parkrun community. I mean, I'm injured at the minute, so I can't run. So it's really, at the moment I'm sitting at home but I can come down, I can have a chat with everybody. I see people, it makes me feel part of something. And that's really important. This is a grassroots thing. Without the volunteers, as I've said, you wouldn't have a park run. And for park run, it's the start for lots of people. There's a junior park run as well. So people who'd never think about running or even walking would never come to park run if it didn't happen. And if it didn't happen, the volunteers will make it happen. There's a community here. There's definitely the same volunteers will come up, every week, and then we'll get new people turning up and trying it. And from then on, they're hooked.
The words of both the runners and the volunteers here at Park Run in Cardiff just go to show how essential voluntary work is at the core of community and grassroots sport.
And that is all we have time for this week. Before we leave you, here is what you can expect in our next show at 3 p.m.
First team, second team, senior members of the club, they all pulled together, and it was marvellous.
And then had a trial for Wales and got in. I was like, oh, what happens now?
The plan to build an activity hub in Moyle Grove has upset many in the community.
Thank God that something like this now exists.
Thank you for watching. I have been your host, Max Drinkwater-James. We would just like to extend our thank yous to everyone in the studio who's helped produce this, our course leader, Julie Kissick, who has helped us to prepare this event and always driving us forward. Also, a massive thank you to everyone who featured in our video trailers, as well as Eduardo, who sat here and was able to stand in for an interview as a guest. Finally, we would just like to share our expressions to make sure everyone would like to follow on with the follow-up episode at 3 p.m. Goodbye.